What's up, everyone? At the end of Season 6, last we saw, Cersei finally sat the Iron Throne and is unaware of the impending threat of 100,000 Dothraki screamers and 3 large dragons that are headed straight for her in that pointy metal chair that she is currently resting upon. However, according to the Maggie the Frog prophecy, Cersei will in fact be killed, just not by dragonfire.
3 questions you get. You won't like the answers.
I've been promised to the prince. When will we marry?
You'll never wed the prince. You'll wed the king.
But I will be queen.
Oh, yes. You'll be queen. For a time. Then comes another. Younger. More beautiful. To cast you down and take all you hold dear.
Will the king and I have children?
The king will have 20 children. And you will have 3.
That doesn't make sense.
Gold will be their crowns. Gold. Their shrouds.
Gold shall be their crowns, and gold their shrouds, Maggie the Frog said, and when your tears have drowned you, the Valonqar shall wrap his hands around your pale white throat and choke the life from you. The show left out the last part about the choking, but they may have intentionally done that since this will be how Cersei will ultimately meet her fate. In this video, we're going to talk about several ways that Cersei Lannister may be killed in Season 7. A new theory that is gaining weight amongst the fandom of A Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire is that since a lot of people believe the word Valonqar could be gender neutral, somehow people think that Arya will be wearing the face of either Jaime or Tyrion Lannister and poison Cersei with the same poison that was used to assassinate Joffrey back in Season 4. That poison was in fact called the Strangler. It was also shown that in Season 6, Arya received training from the Faceless Men in the art of poison making, which will in fact come in handy. I have a few problems with that, and here they are. Besides from Arya not being a midget, or 6'2", which is the frame needed to pull off pretending to be Jaime Lannister, I personally don't understand why people keep assuming that Valonqar is a gender-neutral word, when it is in fact established in the novels to be a masculine word. In the books, Cersei has the word Valonqar translated by a Septa, who to my understanding knows High Valyrian well enough for Cersei to even call on her advice in the matter, as being a masculine word. Furthermore, Maggie the Frog even specifically says in the Valonqar prophecy that the Valonqar will wrap his hands around her neck. I believe that this is commonly mistaken as Valonqar being a gender-neutral word, just because we all know that the prince who was promised in the prophecy, the prince, can be gender-neutral. The word prince, which is delirios or delirios, I'm not exactly sure how to say it in High Valyrian, the word translates to prince, or more specifically, the crown prince or princess. If I'm not mistaken, Jaime or Tyrion would have to die first in order for Arya to use their face to execute Cersei. Now, I do remember back at the Season 5 finale when Jaqen had drank the poison and was dying, Arya began pulling off different faces and then she revealed her own, and obviously she was alive so she saw the dead person's face, so maybe it's possible, but I chalk that up to Arya hallucinating since she had just stolen a face to go kill Meryn Trant, and that mask that she used poisoned her. It subsequently made her hallucinate. Then you gotta think about how unlikely it would be for Arya to even get close enough to Jaime to kill him. He's surrounded by Kingsguard in King's Landing, which is probably one of the most secure places in the kingdom, and then you have Tyrion being in the company of Daenerys and her 3 dragons. So it's highly unlikely that Arya will kill Jaime or Tyrion, wear their face, and then poison Cersei. My favorite choice for Valonqar is Tyrion. The hate that Cersei has for him would make it all the more ironic if Tyrion was the one to fulfill the prophecy. However, I predict that Tyrion will have a sit-down with Jaime once he arrives in King's Landing with Dany and company, and it will at first not go so well, as in the last time we saw, or we heard Jaime talk about Tyrion, was that he said he would kill Tyrion if we ever saw him again, since Tyrion killed Tywin Lannister, their father, but I predict that the conversation will ultimately end with Tyrion, Hand of the Queen, trying to convince Jaime that he has no choice because their father, Tywin Lannister, was evil and deserved nothing more than to die. This will likely make Jaime realize just how evil Cersei has become and cause him to begin to lose faith in Cersei. We saw foreshadowing of this back when Jaime killed the Mad King, Aerys Targaryen, after he threatened to burn them all. Speaking of which, once Dany realizes that Jaime was the one to execute her father, I'm not sure how things will turn out for Jaime. Perhaps he will be imprisoned, or even worse, beheaded. I do think Tyrion will try to pardon his brother with a speech similar to what we saw back in Season 6.
I will set their fleets afire, kill every last one of their soldiers, and return their cities to the dirt. That is my plan. You don't approve.
You once told me you knew what your father was. Did you know his plans for King's Landing when the Lannister armies were at his gates? Probably not. Well, he told my brother, and Jaime told me. He had caches of wildfire hidden under the Red Keep. The guild halls, the Scepter Baler, all the major thoroughfares. He would have burned every one of his citizens. The loyal ones and the traitors. Every man, woman, and child. That's why Jaime killed him.
This is entirely different.
You're talking about destroying cities. It's not entirely different. I'd like to suggest an alternate approach.
If the showrunners intentionally left out the strangled by Valonqar part of the prophecy, they might go a different route in the death of Cersei. Lena Headey is in fact a great actress and a huge asset to the show. Dan and Dave may decide to keep her around until Season 8 and have Arya be the one to sneak into her black cell that she will be kept in once the Battle of the Queens concludes and kill her. Judging by the fact that Lena is one of the highest paid actors in the series, I fear she may be around for the majority of the remaining 2 seasons, even if she won't be in a position of power or of major importance to further the story. I made a prediction in my last video about how Cersei may escape back to Casterly Rock. This would be a convenient way for the writers to prolong Cersei's life. Even if Euron somehow attacked and destroyed part of Dany's fleet, I still don't think it is likely that Cersei would survive a head-on assault from Daenerys. I do, however, see Cersei potentially forming an alliance with Euron in hopes of using his ships to defeat Dany. The writers could of course slow down how long it takes from Dany to cross the Narrow Sea in order to make the time to have Cersei and Euron form this alliance. I just hope they do something that won't seem too Michael Bay-esque. I want to thank you all so much for watching. While you wait for my next video to post, you can click up here for more Game of Thrones related content. Links to my social media, as always, are in the description down below. I'll see you all later. This has been Sir Hunt's Reviews.